Samanthaazira here. It's been a minute since I've done a pickup video, and so I wanted to go over some of the things that I've picked up recently, majority of them modern, but I was able to find a pawn shop that was willing to give me a couple of good deals, so I'll give you a little bit of insight into that as well. I was able to pick up a couple of older titles, but I did have to explore some of my local antique malls to get these. So I want to go over some of my recent finds and some of the things that I'm excited to play. So let's get started. GameStop seems to have good sales once in a while, and so sometimes I'll walk in and kind of browse around. I didn't know what they were having at this point, and at this point, when I walked in, they were having a buy one, get one on anything on the bottom shelf. Now, when I showed up, it was basically the scraps, but I still managed to find a couple things to add to my collection. So the buy one, get one, I ended up getting Tales of Symphonia Remastered, because if you looked at my video of games I want to play in 2023, this was one of the games. And I figured if I played it maybe on a little bit more updated visuals, and maybe they did a couple of things to fix things that made it hard to get through the game, that I might enjoy it more. And then Dodgeball Academia is the one that I picked up that I really was interested in. I actually struggled to find the second game, but I couldn't walk away without this. This looks very interesting. I find myself really interested in games that are kind of weird, like Golf Story. Golf Story is a role-playing game about golf, and that sounds boring, but that game is amazing, and one of these days I'll have to dedicate a video to it. And then the last one was Sonic Forces. The reason for this pickup, honestly, might be a stupid one. I recently built a Switch wall, and I had 2 spots open, and this game was about, I think it was like 14 bucks. So although I was interested in dabbling in this game, it's not something I was immediately wanting, but I did want to fill up my Switch wall. Another thing I picked up from GameStop is I like to explore their like cheaper bins, the ones that are like $10 or less. Sometimes you can find decent titles in there, and honestly, if I hadn't owned a couple of them already, this would have been a much bigger pickup. But Crackdown 3, I've never tried a Crackdown game. I think they had some controversy behind one of their games, and I don't remember which one. If you guys have played this game, let me know if you enjoyed it or not. But I figured for 8 bucks, why not pick it up and give it a try? And honestly, my Xbox One collection could use a little beefing up anyway. And I need you, and I miss you. Now, I tend to hyperfixate on games that people talk about when I'm really interested in why they love the game. FemTrooper continually mentions Dragon Ball Z Kakarot over and over in her videos, and I've been recently watching her a lot and bringing her up on my channel a lot, and so I couldn't help but go pick it up. I think I ordered it from Amazon or something like that. It really wasn't a bad price. You can get this game for a reasonable price. I think I paid somewhere around like between 20 to 30. It's still sealed because I haven't played it yet. I got a couple games I'm in right now, but she had so much passion about it, and that's probably the problem with us YouTubers, is that we're so excited about all these games that it makes you want to spend all your money. So I'm excited to play this and possibly review it as well. But just hearing about it over and over again, I couldn't get it out of my mind until I had it in my collection. So back to the pawn shop that I was talking about. I walked in and they had a decent selection of games. They even had a TMNT like 1-Up Arcade. You know, it was a pretty decent pawn shop. This was a day where we were hopping around different stores, seeing if we could find anything, different thrift shops, and honestly, I didn't find anything. The local hunting around my area isn't very good, but when I went to this pawn shop, I ended up picking up several games. You know, I just wanted to build a stack and see kind of what they would do to work with me. I think my total value for the games was $70, and they ended up knocking it down to like 40 bucks plus tax. And so I was able to get Far Cry 5 for the Xbox One. Like I said, trying to beef up that collection, and I've heard some good things about this one. I don't play a lot of Far Cry games, but I think this one might be a little bit interesting. Ghost of Tsushima, I mean, obviously I had to pick this one up. I love picking up games that everyone seems to love, because I like to discover for myself why people enjoyed the game so much. I've seen the beginning of it, and I think I'm already in love with it. I just need to sit down and start playing it. But I was really excited to get this one. Sword Art Online, I did end up watching the entire anime series, and I did enjoy it. I I don't play a lot of like anime type games, but I figured I'd give it a shot since it was part of my bundle. If you guys have ever played Sword Art Online, any of the games, could you tell me which one you prefer the most, or maybe what you think the biggest flaw with these games are? That would be extremely helpful. And then Gravity Rush 2. So I own the first one on the PS Vita, and I feel like these games, their value has been kind of finicky over the last few years. I've seen them go up and down a lot. And that's not why I picked it up, but I figured if I was going to want to play this, I'd rather pick it up now while the price is hopefully at its lowest. And then if it does choose to shoot in the future, like shoot up in price, then at least I have it in my collection and I can play it without having to pay like a ridiculous amount of money to get it. And last but not least, antique malls. I surprisingly have had some luck at antique malls, and I was able to pick up not only video games, but some Nintendo magazines. They have toys, magazines, you know, you're finding, and Pokemon cards actually. Surprisingly, antique malls do have items that you may be looking for. Now, they might not be at the prices you're wanting to pay. It is hit and miss. I ended up getting Star Wars Knights 2, Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic, and a TMNT game. And these are all fairly clean, and I believe the majority of them have manuals. They wanted $7, $7, and $8. He ended up giving all of these to me for $14, so I basically got one game for free. I believe one of these is an upgrade for me, but you can still find Xbox games. Honestly, if you're hunting or if you're trying to build a video game collection, I would definitely start hunting for the Xbox or Xbox 360, maybe even the Xbox One, depending on the title. It's actually fairly cheap to collect for those consoles right now, and if you're planning on building your collection, I would definitely start there and start looking for them, because I run into Xbox games, like the old ones, more than, well, definitely GameCube, but PS2. PS2 is a little finicky on the market, so it really depends on what you're looking for. But if you're just trying to build a collection so that you have a backlog of games to play, definitely start with Xbox. As I mentioned before, I did end up getting some Nintendo Powers from the antique mall. These are beautiful. Apparently, the guy had bought somebody's entire collection. Somebody had been getting them in childhood, and he had every single copy with all the original posters and all the original Pokemon cards. Of course, by the time I got there, he had quite a bit left, but none of the ones that you probably are looking for, like the big hitters with the cards. But I was really excited because I'm very partial to Pokemon Yellow and Pokemon Snap. Obviously, I'm a big Pokemon fan, but these all have their original posters. The prices were about $10 to $20 a piece, depending on what you were looking for, so I only bought about 4 copies of these. I'm not a big Nintendo Power collector, but when I do come across them at a price that I can afford at the time, I will definitely pick them up, and these are beautiful. And last but not least, not so much a pickup, but a gift for Valentine's Day, a Peak PS5 controller. I have been enjoying my PS5 a lot. I bought it a little while ago, and I am so excited because now I get to play some 2-player games with people. The PS5 has been a lot of fun. It makes recording easy. The games are beautiful, backwards compatible with the PS4. So I definitely wanted to get a second controller, and I'm partial to colored ones anyway. So that's my shorter pickup video. I haven't been hunting as much, and these videos might become a little bit more far and few, but I was excited to show you some of the things I was able to find and maybe slip in some of that footage from the antique mall hunt that I did. But thank you all so much for watching. And remember, there's a pixelated world waiting out there for you.